The key purpose of assessment is to inform instructional decision making. And the idea is that the assessments themselves have to be the indicators of the educator's impact on student learning. It's all about student learning. So the assessments need to provide the evidence that the student learning has taken place and to what degree. And the fact that because educators are so busy with standards and with all the assessments that they're asked to give to their students, this is about what they can control. This is about them creating quality assessments with their colleagues for their students relevant to the particular unit of study that they're working on that will give them that powerful, credible, valid, reliable feedback about how the students are progressing in the learning intentions that are in focus. One of my main motivations and priorities for this second book, this new edition, was the fact that I wanted to make sure that those who were already familiar with the original book, that had been using CFAs, developing CFAs in their schools for years possibly, very familiar with the process and work, the natural question for them is, well, what's in it for me? Is this a book just for those that have never used this work, or is this a book that will really help me take them to the next level? And my vision was to have educators who are already familiar with the process revisit the process, receive new components, and upgrade their CFAs. So they had a much better, tighter, more quality assessment than they had had before. And one of the ways that I have attempted to do this is by including a few key new steps to the process. For example, there's a step now that has them evaluating, critiquing the quality of their assessment questions before they administer that assessment to the students. And they're using established guidelines from well-known assessment experts, psychometricians, and I've culled or synthesized their guidelines for well-written multiple choice questions, matching questions, constructed response questions, and put those in a very user-friendly format so as the teams have created their initial draft, they can look at each of these checks, what I call quality checks, and they can use the guidelines to check every single question that they've written to see if that question passes muster, so to speak, by the experts. And also will it trigger a need for revision. And the whole reason for this, and this is huge, and this is why I think this will be of real value to people that are already familiar with the process, is that the inferences that teachers make about student understanding can only be as good as the evidence they collect. And if the evidence, which in this case is from the source of the common formative assessment questions, think about this for a second. If the evidence is faulty, then the inferences are incorrect.